That is embracing unconditionally. Acceptance is an unconditional embracing of what is true, of what is so. So that God is loving, joyful, and accepting. And we are invited to be accepting, loving, and joyful as well, as we experience ourselves stepping into our life as God. And the final steps in godliness, the final characteristics of godliness, are that God is blessing and grateful. God blesses everything. Now you might ask, well, what does it mean for God to be blessing? What would it mean for me if I wanted to step into my life as God? How do I get to be blessing? I asked God that question. If I wanted to step into my life as God, how would I be blessing? Blessing means to send your best, highest, most loving, most accepting, most joyful energies to every person and every condition and everything in your experience. There's a lady in what is the city? Not Norway, but where am I? There's a lady in some European city that and she's at the train station in, gosh, I can't think of it now. Anyway, she's at a train station in one of those cities in Europe where I've been many times. And she calls herself Sister, I can't think of her name anymore either. It's too bad. This was a good anecdote to share with you, but I guess I can't share it. She sits on the floor in the train station, and she's been there for years. She's a homeless person, or appears to be a homeless person. Turns out the newspaper it did a story about her after she'd been there like 6 or 8 years, and found out she wasn't a homeless person at all. She has a very lovely home. But every day she comes to the train station and sits on the floor at the train station and watches people go by. And Zurich, thank you. She's at the train station in Zurich. And so they asked her finally after years, and people would drop by, give her little coins, or they bring her a little something to eat. Regulars who go to the train station every day, people who go use it as a means of getting back and forth to work and so forth. They would bring her sandwiches and other things to make, even offer to do her laundry and bring her dry cleaning, and they brought her clothes and so forth. So this lady who called herself Sister, I can't think of her name, we'll call her Sister Zelda, just to give her a name. They asked her, Sister Zelda, why are you sitting here on the floor at the train station for all these years? She said, I'm blessing the people. You're what? I'm blessing the people, she said. As they go by every day, I just bless them. And what that feels like to her is she sends them her most loving, caring, joyful, compassionate, accepting energies. Each person as they go by. And after a while, people who are regulars at that train station, who go back and forth every day to work and so forth, say they began to feel a certain essence from her, from Sister Zelda, as she sat there, and they actually felt blessed. If you can understand what I'm saying. They actually felt uplifted. They felt loved. They felt accepted. And some people would notice a difference. For instance, they'd be coming into the train station late, racing for the train. They got to get to work, and they're going to miss the 8:05. So they're racing in there, and on that day, they're not in the best of moods. Things haven't gone well at home. They're racing through, but they pass Sister Zelda, and she sees their mood. She sees that they're racing. She understands when the train leaves. She's been there for 7 years. She knows everything. So she goes, oh, he's going to be late for the 8:05 if he doesn't hurry. But she sends him her energies. And these people have said that even in the midst of their hurry, even in the midst of their rushing, even in the midst of their not such a good mood, they were becalmed and felt, in fact, blessed. They made the train. Or whether they made the train or not, they felt blessed. Everything changed when they passed Sister Zelda. For all I know, she's still there every day on the floor at the train station in Zurich. And that's what it means to be blessing, to be willing to share your best thoughts, your best energy, your best idea with everything and everyone whose life you touch. I'll tell you a final anecdote about that. This one I remember vividly. My mother, when things would happen around the house that she didn't appreciate, like maybe she's putting a picture up and she hits her thumb with a hammer or whatever went wrong, she'd always go, "God bless it." And I'd say, "Mom, why do you always say God bless it? You know, when things like that happen." Dad doesn't say that. He says something entirely different. She said, "Well, because I don't want God to do anything but bless it. I want God to bless it. I don't want God to damn it or have any other. I want God to bless it." And I never forgot that. And I thought, here is a woman who understood the essence of godliness, that even in moments that weren't so great, she called forth a blessing. What an example. And the last thing that God is eternally grateful. And I am eternally grateful for my mother, as you probably caught with the emotion there. And eternally grateful as well for all of life as it is now presenting itself, even as God is. Gratitude is the attitude. So said God to me in conversations with God. That if you really want one sweeping overall tool that you can use to heal almost any situation, the tool would be the tool of gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude. And I've discovered that that tool is very healing. Whenever I'm in the midst of situations or moments that are not so good, like I was describing in my mother's life, whatever it might be, or whenever I seem to be facing a problem or a circumstance or a situation that feels challenging at best to me in my life, if not deeply troublesome, I have learned to step into gratitude, yes, even for that. Yes, even for that. To say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this set of circumstances, for this situation, for this opportunity to know and declare, to announce and fulfill, to become and to experience who I really am. And my favorite prayer in moments like that, I've shared it in writing many times. I'll share it with you now here on the program. My favorite prayer in moments like that is, thank you, God, for helping me to understand that this problem has already been solved for me. Can we say that again? Thank you, God, for helping me to understand that this problem has already been solved for me. When we live in gratitude at that level, life, you will discover, can become a miracle. The last portion of this lesson before we have our opportunity for an experience of conversation with God has to do with the 17 steps to being happier than God. I wrote a book a few years ago called Happier Than God. And the book contained 17 steps to achieve that experience. I want to explain the title very quickly. Somebody said, how can you be happier than God? I don't understand the title of your book. How can anybody be happier than God? And I said to that person what God said to me, because I asked God the same question. How can I be happier than God? And God said, who are you? Who are you living as? Do you really get experientially and not just conceptually or theoretically, but do you get experientially that you are God, that you are the manifestation of God, that you are God made human, that you are an individuation of the divine? Do you get all of that? And I said, okay, fair enough. Let's say that I do. God said, okay, if you do, if you get that you are God, I have a question to ask you. Have you ever been happier in any present moment, in any given moment, than you were at some time before? I said, yeah, I've had moments when I've been happier than other moments. God said, great, then you are happier than God. Ah, interesting, fascinating. So God said, it's also the ultimate superlative. The ultimate superlative is to say that how happy are you? gosh, I'm happier than God. And that level of superlativeness, if I could coin another word, is what is referred to by that title. Now, if you want to be happier than you imagine God itself to be, we were given 17 steps in the book Happier Than God with which to do that. I'm going to run through these steps relatively quickly now, because if I describe them all fully, it would take another 3.5 or 4 hours. But read the book Happier Than God. If you follow even a few of these steps, forget about all 17 of them, just a few of them, you will find yourself being happier and happier and happier every day of your life. Step number 1, bring an end to separation theology. We've been talking about nothing but that for the past 7 weeks. Bring an end to separation theology. Stop embracing a theology that says that you're over here and God's over there. That's the whole point of this course. Step number 2, stay in touch with who you are. Each day, remind yourself, ask yourself those 4 fundamental questions that I talked about in a prior lesson. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I where I am? And what do I intend to do about that? Okay? Do that regularly. Step number 3, give others every experience that you seek. This is an important turnaround that God gave me in the Conversations with God material. Whatever you want for yourself, cause another to experience in their reality. Be the source of someone else's experience of that, whatever it is. I want more compassion in my life. I want more love. I want more companionship. I want more income. I want more, whatever it is you want to experience in your life. Cause another to experience it, and you will find yourself, because you've acted as the source, you will find that what flows through you sticks to you. Step number 4, be clear that nothing you see is real. We just talked about that in an earlier lesson, so I won't go into it in depth here. Go back and look at the last lesson, lesson number 6. Nothing you see is real. Be very clear about that. If you don't understand that deeply, in fact, go back to the last lesson. Step 5, decide that you are not your story. You're not the whole story that you've made up about you. All the stuff that's happened, and you don't understand, Neil, it's like this, and if you knew what I went through, and yada, yada. Decide that you are not your story. And if you'd like to experience stepping out of your story, or experience the process by which you can be led by the hand out of your story, stay with these courses that we're designing for you, because there's more to come, and they will help you to get out of your story. Step number 6, have only preferences. Do not have requirements or demands of life. We talked about that now a couple of times in this course. So let yourself have only preferences. I prefer chocolate over vanilla, but I don't require it or demand it in order to be happy. Step number 7, see the perfection. See the perfection of life exactly as it is, occurring right here, right now. Again, we discussed that as well. A lot of these steps are summations or summaries of the whole Conversations with God cosmology. Step number 8, bypass the drama. This is a really important step in being happier than God. Bypass the drama. When you see a drama coming, when you see a drama emerging, just say, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not going there. I'm not getting in there with you. I don't choose that drama. I'm not going to be the star of my own drama today. Step number 9, understand sadness. Important. People think that sadness and happiness are mutually exclusive. They are not. Boy, if you don't understand, I was going to say, if you don't understand that, if you aren't clear about that, you really need to get in there and read the book Happier Than God. Delve deeply into that section of the book that talks about the fact that sadness and happiness are not mutually exclusive. I'll give you a very simple example, just really easy here, so that you can really grasp this concept and this idea. I remember 2 things in my life that brought this to me very clearly. One was when my daughter got married and I walked her down the aisle. I remember that I was, we call this, by the way, we call this a poignant experience. Poignancy is when we are sad and happy at the same time, yes?